Subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon and never miss an update from Latestly.
Alright then, we all have heard about coupling and decoupling, and now this is a new terminology and stated in a new way, conveyed in a new way, tripling.
Yes.
Yeah, and quite successfully at that, right? Yeah. This particular terminology and the way it has been dealt with on a platform as good as Z5, what more one could ask for? Amol Manvi, thank you so much for joining us on Latestly first of all. ये जो ट्रिपलिंग है हमने ट्रेलर में देखा, बहुत ही अलग सा कॉन्सेप्ट है, and it is youthful and still it is not about youth. It is not youth centric alone. So in that way, how would you describe this concept tripling?
I think it is not a youth show, but it has a young soul. It has a young and progressive soul, and which is why, but it doesn't restrict itself to कि हम ये कुछ young लोगों की कहानी बता रहे हैं या old लोगों की कहानी बता रहे हैं या इस age group की कहानी बता रहे हैं of these three people, and which is the beauty of the show, that if everything goes well, we can just keep making this show for like 30 seasons because we can just grow with these siblings and these family and these set of people, and maybe that family can grow. So it is, and it will still be tripling. It will not be कि नहीं यार ये तो अब tripling नहीं रहा, tripling तो it has to be a show about a 25-year-old, a 28-year-old and 32-year-old. So it is, I think the soul of the show doesn't restrict itself to the ages of the character, but the tone and the what it tries to say is mostly progressive and young, and says it in a slightly irreverent manner, which is mostly associated with younger people. यार कुछ भी बोल दिया यार, कुछ भी कैसे भी बोल दिया, या मजाक में ले गए सीरियस बात को, या कोई बहुत भारी बात को हल्के में बोल दिया. That is what I feel the USP of the show is, and the personality of the show is.
Has the terminology tripling therefore in your head evolved, Manvi? As in the concept, the different tones of it, the different subtext attached to it?
But there is no subtext attached. I mean, the tripling is basically about these three siblings, and because they're three in number, and it's a play on that word or
it's
that idea.
Play. It's a clever play on it.
Yeah, and in fact, during this first season, I found out that when there are three people on a two-wheeler, that's also called tripling or triply or something, you know. So for me, tripling is this show, you know. So every time I hear, "Arey wo tripling maar rahe the," my first, and then I realize, oh, acha, they're talking about that, you know. Otherwise, my first thought is tripling suna maine, you know, like that. But yeah.
और ये कमिंग ऑफ एज की जो स्टोरीज होती हैं, ये कितनी बखूबी यहाँ पर दिख रही है. मतलब लव और से आई डू नॉट वांट लव आल्सो डजंट कम विद अ सर्टेन age bracket. You can decide, it's always a choice, it's a conscious choice, but choice always comes with its own repercussions, which is quite clear from the trailer. So in that sense, grasping the narrative and then performing accordingly, what the process was like?
I think the writing does most of the work for actors. Sometimes it may happen that आप पढ़ रहे हो लेकिन आप you're not able to resonate with it, you're not able to understand why the characters are behaving that way. But again, thankfully in this show that has never happened, because I think more or less these five people and everybody else who is behind the scenes, behind this poster, who's put up this show, we are, at least our sensibilities are more or less the same. We probably watch the same kind of stuff, like the same kind of stuff, aspire to do same kind of stuff. तो वो कभी नहीं था कि यार इसका क्यों हो रहा है, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. The overall sensibility is not out of place. You can have small discussions ki I want to do it like this, or I think it should be like this. So it is, and the writing is very crisp and clear and straightforward. It doesn't even try to obfuscate or try to create extra drama or try to force anything. So it reads pretty easy, and it's very easy to imagine then those scenes. It's very easy to imagine yourself, yeah, this is how at least this character would react, even if you don't feel like this is not how I would react. And now after playing it for 2-3 seasons, sometimes if you give a situation, we'll just start reacting like our characters, if you were told to, because at least the mannerisms and the thought processes have become very automatic. So I don't think there was any extra burden that I was taking as an actor, and probably I saw that they were taking an actor कि यार इस बार हम कुछ अलग करने वाले हैं, we have to put in कुछ हमको अलग करना है. It is arriving there as an actor with your full body and mind and just taking that material and flying with it.
And come on, I mean, coming from that, जब season 2 होता है, जब पहला season आपका success होता है, इतनी ज़्यादा अच्छा reaction मिलता है, response मिलता है, second season में producers, directors, makers बोलते हैं नहीं इसमें तो और भी अच्छा करेंगे तो as actor is a selfish being, a selfish creature, तो आप अपना देखते हो मेरे लिए इतना मीट अभी क्या है, अभी मुझे बोलो कि मेरे लिए इसमें अलग क्या है, आप बोल तो रहे हो स्टोरी में अलग है, बट व्हाट डिफरेंट am I going to do in this one? उस लिहाज से वो कितना डिफरेंट होगा और उस लिहाज से सीजन 3 कितना डिफरेंट होगा?
हाँ नहीं वो तो इन जनरल ऑल्सो आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ अस कोई भी हमें ऑफर होता है प्रोजेक्ट तो हम देखते हैं कि हमारा कैरेक्टर कर क्या रहा है, लाइक इफ दैट व्हाट दे आर डूइंग इज सब्सटेंशियल इनफ फॉर द मूवमेंट ऑफ द स्टोरी फॉरवर्ड, सो वो तो एक रहता ही है, प्लस with tripling also like मुझे हमेशा लगता था कि like season 1 में I was the sister, I was the middle sister and I was the voice of reason, okay, so my character was never fun, like she didn't have any punchlines, she didn't have any jokes, her the funniest moments if at all were her reactions to other people's jokes or other people's punchlines, और वो परेशानी रहती थी mostly चंचल, and season 2 में भी more or less वही था, and season 3 में I have accepted that, I'm like ठीक है, like this is who she is, I mean I get to play like quote unquote fun और ऐसा joking वाले parts in other places, और यहाँ पे मुझे फन बहुत आता है करते हुए, like because both Sumeet and Amol are very like I enjoy with them, कुमुद जी, शर्न्स, कुनाल, इन सब के साथ हम प्रोड्यूसर्स, डायरेक्टर, हर साल हमारा अलग हुआ है, every season we've had a different director and we've had pretty much the same amount of fun with each and every one of them, तो मेरे लिए वो मतलब I enjoy the process. थोड़ा सा I mean I do of course look at कि क्या इस बार क्या कर रही है चंचल, and if I have a problem with something I talk to them, and these guys are all very like receptive to the and क्योंकि शुरू में ही बात हो जाती है ना, ये नहीं कि सेट पे आके आप बोल रहे हो कि मैं ये नहीं करूँगी और whatever, so you say it right at the beginning so that they can fix it, and they have like season 3 में भी कुछ चीज़ें थी जो मुझे था कि I don't want to do this, चंचल doesn't or whatever, so then they've removed it or they've tweaked it or whatever, so it's I think a fairly healthy creative relationship.
And as per the change of the medium, I mean say television or OTT or films, especially in OTT, because the makers are always looking for that hook for you to lead on to the next season, as indeed for the next episode as well. So ये जो hook की बात होती है वो तो काफी excite करती है makers को. As an actor आप भी वो hooks ढूंढते हैं कि या सिर्फ directors पे छोड़ देते भाई तू hook संभाल ले, मैं तो अपना काम करूँगा.
हम लोग को इतना सोचना पड़ता है के लिए, बिकॉज वो राइटिंग प्रोसेस का काम है. अगेन इफ यू आर इन्वॉल्व इन द राइटिंग प्रोसेस और इफ यू आर कोलैबोरेटिंग और जैमिंग कि भाई क्या लग रहा है यहाँ पे हम अटक गए तो फिर है, बट अदरवाइज दोज हुक्स और वो व्हाटएवर जो स्क्रिप्ट में जा चुका है आपको मिलेगा और फिर आप उस पर जज करोगे. अगर आपको जनरली पढ़ने में मज़ा आएगा तो फिर आप करोगे या नहीं करोगे. अगर उसमें आप हुक डाल सकते हो, ज़बरदस्ती का हुक भी डाल सकते हो, बट आपको पढ़ते हुए लग सकता है ये इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है. सो यू कैन हैव दिस रिएक्शन बट इट हैज़ टू वर्क, लाइक इट हैज़ टू, आई थिंक फॉर मी व्हेन आई एम रीडिंग आई शुड एंजॉय रीडिंग. इफ आई एंजॉय रीडिंग इट फील्स लाइक ओ दिस माइट बी समथिंग दैट पीपल विल एंजॉय वॉचिंग. तो वो उसमें हुक ऑलरेडी डल के आता है या नहीं डल के आता है, एंड देन यू जस्ट रिएक्ट टू व्हाट इज गिवन टू यू.
What is it like working with Kumud Mishra? He's such a talent, such a darling, and what are the lessons are like? What are the learnings are from him? Like, I mean, right from first season to now third, the evolution in him as a performer that you see, and how you guys feed off each other.
And this season has been better, and we are I feel luckier that we got to spend more time with the parents, both of them, Shernaz and Kumud, and because पहले क्या था कि वो कुछ they were in the periphery of the story, mostly at least visually, तो वो उतना सीन करने का साथ में मौका नहीं. इस बार पूरा हमने नीटली साथ में shared screen space together. What you learn from both of them, Kumud, Shernaz, is they've been working for a long time. They have achieved a lot of things. They are masters of their craft. सब लोग उनको बोलते हैं, उनको भी पता है होगा कहीं ना कहीं कि अब इतने सालों से लोग बोल रहे हैं 30 साल से तो होगा. बट एट द सेम टाइम व्हेन दे आर ऑन सेट विद यू, दैट बैगेज और दैट द वेट ऑफ दैट thing is not there. You know, आप सेट पे नहीं लेके आए वो बैग भर के कि देखो ये मैं हूँ कुमुद मिश्रा, मैंने ये किया लाइफ में, ये लो मुझसे ऐसे बात करो. So that is something I would say I take as an inspiration, because you also see other kinds of people, and then you know how you बड़े होके होते हैं ना, बड़े होके आपको क्या बनना है, तो आपको लगता है कि नहीं मुझे वो नहीं बनना है, मुझे बड़े होके वो क्या बनना है. So that's the, at least for me, that's the major learning.
All we see as audience is this complete madness there, but of course there's method to madness. So in उस लिहाज से, in that sense, what is that method that you learn from the veterans?
यार एक तो दोनों लाइनें, you must know your lines. That's the starting point. नहीं बहुत, you will be surprised कि कितने actors होते हैं जिनको वो स्क्रिप्ट ही नहीं पढ़ते, वो क्या तो और they'll skim through it or whatever, and तो एक आइडिया होना चाहिए सीन में क्या हो रहा है, आपकी क्या लाइन्स है, ये वो दैट फर्स्टली यू शुड हैव दैट पैट डाउन पैट. देन आफ्टर दैट, मतलब जो इनसे मैं इनमें देखा है कि देन यू काइंड ऑफ, मतलब जैसा जो थिएटर में होता है ना, आपके पास स्क्रिप्ट होती है बट देन यू काइंड ऑफ जैम ऑन इट, राइट. आप ऐसा कि अच्छा ये करते हैं, अरे इसमें एक जोक मार दिया किसी ने, ये कर लिया वो कर लिया. सो दैट इज ऑल्सो एन एक्सरसाइज ऑफ सॉर्ट्स. लाइक देयर इज अनदर शो दैट आई डिड, एंड हमने उसमें we used to do this and for fun, like हम लोग पैकअप के बाद चिल कर रहे होते थे एक दूसरे के रूम में, and we used to do this, we used to do like bring scripts and read each other's lines और जो भी different exercises like this. There was this one actor, he would keep changing the lines, मतलब वो कुछ तो गेम बनाता रहता था, अब now you do this, and we had such a blast, and that was our workshop, you know. I mean, and एक chemistry breaking तो हो ही रही थी, which again, and this was us chilling, like we were partying after pack-up. तो Kumud Shernaz are also like, they're very and they're very effortless. Like जब Amol was talking about them not leaving the baggage and ये वो, तो उनका यही है कि वो there's an ease in which with which they act. तो वो देखने में आपको लगता है कि हाँ यार, मतलब you know, you have to be loosened up, because हम लोग बहुत स्ट्रेस हो जाते हैं जैसे ही कैमरा ऑन होता है कि ओ अच्छा, then you become conscious of every movement कि मैं ऐसे बैठूंगी, मैं ऐसे, मैं this, and you know, and हंस भी रहे हो तो your profile, you're showing your best profile, you know, things like that. तो उनका वो नहीं है, like they're very comfortable, maybe है और हमें दिखता नहीं है, maybe they don't let it be shown, but yeah, there's a certain ease with which they function, and I think that's what I would like to take away, that you be so prepared when you're on set, you be so confident and aware of what it is that you are there for, that you, once you start performing, it looks effortless.
Amol, you do a lot of commercials, so in that sense you have to tell stories with, say, particular expressions in those 30 seconds, and 20. Then here you have to have Therav as an actor. You see the evolution, the graph, so to speak, of that character. What is more helpful, doing commercials doing this, or doing this helps in commercials? What is it like?
Oh, what helps in what is an answer that I haven't thought of. But
you must have observed.
Yeah, so when I started doing commercials, it was a little tricky and tough for me, because it can be a little restrictive at times. At least that's what you feel in the beginning. कि अरे नहीं, मैं तो I want to take a pause and say this line, but वहाँ पे pause का time नहीं है. You know, I've also shot ads where you're actually acting on a timer. Okay. You know, and first time it was like ये क्या हो रहा है, ये किसी there's a timer, and you are acting in a way so that on the 18th second when the alarm goes is when this action should happen.
Okay.
So what that did was, of course, it put me in some situations where it was uncomfortable and I had to really push myself, and my idea of acting and change. But that also teaches you something. Right. You know, every uncomfortable thing teaches you, because it taught me some brevity in some cases. For example, कि भाई अगर करना पड़े तो मैं ये भी कर सकता हूँ. Thankfully, I think around the time when we all kind of came in Bombay, I started doing commercials. The nature of commercials had also changed. You know, it was around a decade back when commercials suddenly became soft and natural, and the performances became more small and one little music and you know, one little soft moment, and it was like relationships. It became about the softer, the soft performances, and that I think was a wave that all of us kind of then rode. Ki acha, now we are also commercials, but because otherwise commercials were very specific and loud and very, you know, talking to the audience in a loud manner. So I think it helped. It helped. Doing all those commercials helped me hone my craft. Like those were, now I can look at them as limitations. Us time pe, not that what I was doing was wrong, but there was less flexibility. Because suddenly when it was demanded of me, I was like, nahin, but मेरे को ऐसा feel आ रहा है, मेरे को. So you expand your range of feelings. Like, how can I, if this is what the scene requires, then मैं कैसे करूँ उसको, कैसे करना होगा वो. And I've had tough days on attitudes in the beginning, because I too straight jumped from like theatre where there was never a time thing, like you could just, more of an actor's medium.
True.
Where once you're let on stage, there's no one even to like stop you from doing anything. So you're actually free in that moment, like you've transcended, you've left the world behind. But here there's cameras and this thing and specific action, 3 seconds में आपको आए करना है, ऐसा करना है.
And if you do something off script, they will cut it. Like they'll just.
मतलब it's like even a word here or there is sometimes like, you know.
But does it act as a fuel or does it act as a, it kind of hampers you? No, ये मत करना, ये मत करो. ऐसा होता है?
हो सकता है. ये ज़्यादा हो रहा है, ये कम हो रहा है, थोड़ा सा और कर दो. 1 सेकंड, 1 पैसा, 2 पैसा, 3 पैसा, 1 आंख, 1.
No, I like direction when it's specific.
Yeah.
जब कोई बोलता है ना कि इसमें कुछ मजा ले आओ, तो I'm like मतलब कैसे?
कहाँ से ले आए?
हाँ. So if you say that, why don't you say this instead of that? और उससे ना मजा आ जाएगा. I'm fine. I'll say it, you know, and if I'm convinced or whatever. But ऐसा vague directions मुझे बहुत.
That can happen
as long
anyway.
as they're specific.
I mean, ads or films or.
Yeah. हाँ, not specific to this ad world versus.
My last question: given the narratives that the way they are evolving, and on the platforms they are served on, what is your take on this whole thing? I mean, is being old now cool as well? Because now being old now and being mature also comes with its own choices, which we always had, but we were not daring to get those choices done. Now we can. We are pushing the envelope, so to speak. So
we मतलब तो हमें old बोल रहे हो?
नहीं. In general society.
Oh, okay. I thought like we as in this is when you say old, you mean us, and I'm like what?
पिटना है क्या? So in that sense, कैसे लगता है? मतलब is it does that give you hope in the sense that good that these narratives give, because that also gives young people to chance to react to older people's story, their sentiments and their emotion. At the same time, it allows me the bandwidth. Okay, as an actor, my shelf life is going to get longer as well because stories are being made.
Yeah. No, you answered the question. Yeah, it's exactly that you feel. Anyway, I feel nobody should be denied the right to be represented on screen. Everyone has a right to be represented. Everyone has a right to have their story be told. And why not? Like, imagine the range we have in the world. Like, imagine the number of stories we have, and every person is a film in themselves, right? Puri kahani hai. Every person is a kahani. So I feel सबका होना चाहिए, सबकी. And like you said, it also as young people, it also gives you that sense of security कि हाँ मतलब हमारी मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि 30 के बाद या 35 के बाद खत्म हो जाएगी हमको मतलब घर पे बैठना है या whatever. No, like we still have, forget like not just on cinema like and representation on screen, but even life, right? Like I keep, even with my parents, like I'm touchwood, they have a very active social life and I love it. Like they're traveling all the time, they have a great circle of friends. तो I want कि हाँ वो रहे, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक एज के बाद अब हम घर पे बैठेंगे and all of that. So I think everyone should be like that. All stories should be told.
Exactly, irrespective of the medium, be it commercial, be it OTT,
irrespective of age, of films, sexual preference, of gender, of nationality, of color, of looks, everything.
First 2 seasons, superb. Third is looking interesting and engaging as well. Amol, Manvi, thank you so much for talking.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.